In the quest for knowledge and understanding, it is often easy to adopt the frameworks handed to us by society. Frameworks of belief, behavior, and interpretation that shape how we view the world. These frameworks, built on tradition, culture, education, and experience, provide a sense of stability and order. They offer us ready-made answers to complex questions and serve as a lens through which we interpret our experiences. However, to think critically, we must challenge these frameworks, not simply accept them as truths. To question the frameworks is to confront the structures that shape our perceptions and ask whether they truly reflect reality or whether they are merely the product of historical, cultural, or social conditioning. Questioning frameworks does not mean rejecting all that we have been taught. It does not involve turning our backs on tradition or dismissing the wisdom of those who came before us. Rather, it means approaching our inherited knowledge with a spirit of inquiry, an openness to examining the assumptions and beliefs that underlie it. It requires that we ask fundamental questions. Why do we believe what we believe? Who benefits from these beliefs? Are these frameworks still relevant or effective in the context of our evolving world? What might we gain by considering alternative perspectives? In many cases, frameworks are so deeply ingrained that we no longer recognize them as frameworks at all. They become the backdrop against which we live our lives, providing a sense of normalcy and guiding our decisions. For instance, the societal framework that defines success, often in terms of wealth, status, and achievement, can become so dominant that we fail to question its impact on our well-being and happiness. We may chase after external markers of success without ever pausing to consider whether they align with our true values or lead to meaningful fulfillment. By questioning this framework, we might discover a different, more authentic vision of success, one that is grounded in personal growth, connection, or purpose, rather than superficial measures. Similarly, the cultural and societal frameworks that dictate gender roles, family structures, or career paths may shape our expectations and choices. These frameworks, though not inherently harmful, can limit individual freedom and creativity. When we accept them uncritically, we perpetuate stereotypes and biases that prevent us from seeing people as individuals with unique capabilities and potential. By questioning these frameworks, we open ourselves to greater diversity, inclusivity, and possibility. We begin to see people not through the lens of predefined categories, but as dynamic individuals capable of charting their own paths. Education itself is a powerful framework, and while it undoubtedly equips us with valuable skills and knowledge, it often imposes its own limitations. The traditional education system tends to emphasize standardized thinking, focusing on conformity, memorization, and clear-cut answers, while undervaluing creativity, curiosity, and the exploration of diverse ideas. By questioning the framework of education, we begin to challenge the notion that there is only one correct way of learning or that intelligence is defined by a narrow set of criteria. We can start to embrace the idea that learning is a lifelong, dynamic process that requires flexibility and adaptability, where failure is not an endpoint, but an opportunity for growth and discovery. In questioning frameworks, we also confront the assumptions that influence how we see the world. For example, the economic frameworks that dominate global systems often prioritize profit over people, efficiency over sustainability, and competition over cooperation. These frameworks shape everything from business practices to government policies and individual choices. By questioning these frameworks, we can begin to imagine new systems that prioritize human well-being, ecological balance, and social equity. We may explore alternatives to capitalism, such as more sustainable and ethical models of economic exchange that promote long-term prosperity over short-term gain. Another area where questioning frameworks is particularly important is in our understanding of identity. The frameworks that define race, ethnicity, nationality, and culture can limit our perceptions of who we are and who others can be. These frameworks, built on historical power structures, have often been used to divide and categorize people, creating arbitrary distinctions. By questioning these frameworks, we challenge the assumptions that underlie prejudice and discrimination, opening the door to greater empathy and understanding. We begin to see identity not as a fixed category, but as a fluid, dynamic process that is shaped by our choices, experiences, and relationships. It is important to remember that questioning frameworks is not an act of rebellion for the sake of rebellion, nor is it about disregarding authority or tradition altogether. Rather, it is an invitation to question frameworks is a powerful tool for critical thinking. It allows us to break free from limitations, challenge the status quo, and redefine what is possible. By engaging with the world through a lens of inquiry, we can uncover deeper truths, reshape our understanding, and forge a path toward a more enlightened and empowered existence. In a world where instant gratification and superficial success are often celebrated, the pursuit of depth may seem like a counterintuitive or even outdated approach, yet the ability to pursue depth over surface is essential for developing true understanding, mastering a craft, and fostering meaningful connections. Depth requires effort, patience, and a commitment to going beyond the surface layer of things, whether in knowledge, relationships, or self-awareness. This pursuit is not about rejecting surface-level experiences, but rather recognizing their limitations and seeking the deeper insights that reside beneath them. Surface-level thinking is often driven by convenience and immediate results. In many aspects of modern life, we are conditioned to seek quick fixes, to skim the surface of information, and to measure success in terms of visible accomplishments or short-term rewards. This approach is evident in the way we consume media, approach learning, or even engage in relatio. The pursuit of depth requires a willingness to slow down, to dig deeper, and to embrace complexity. Whether learning a new skill, exploring a subject, or navigating personal growth, depth offers a far more rewarding and enriching experience. In the realm of education, for example, it is easy to fall into the trap of accumulating surface-level knowledge, focusing on memorization or simply passing exams. However, true depth also entails a greater appreciation for the process of discovery. In a world that often emphasizes results, the journey toward understanding can sometimes be undervalued. However, the process of engaging deeply with a subject, exploring its intricacies, and wrestling with challenging questions is what leads to true insight. And in relationships, too, the pursuit of depth over surface is crucial. In a society that often prioritizes superficial connections such as social media friendships or brief interactions, it is easy to overlook the value of deep, meaningful relationships. Yet true connection comes from understanding others on a deeper level, listening to their experiences. The pursuit of depth also requires a commitment to introspection and self-awareness. Surface-level thinking often involves reacting to external circumstances without truly understanding the internal drivers that influence our actions and emotions. To pursue depth in life, we must be willing to look inward, to question our beliefs, and to confront the unconscious biases and assumptions that shape our behavior. Moreover, depth enables resilience. Life is full of challenges, and when we only skim the surface, it is easy to become overwhelmed by difficulties or setbacks. However, when we approach life with depth, we build a stronger foundation for facing adversity. Depth allows us to see beyond immediate problems and to understand the larger picture, whether that is in our personal lives, our careers. One of the keys to pursuing depth is learning to value process over product. In a culture that often celebrates outcomes, it can be tempting to rush toward achievements without taking the time to truly immerse ourselves in the journey. However, depth emerges not from the pursuit of external markers of success, but from a genuine passion for learning, growing, and when we focus on the process rather than the end result, we develop the skills, knowledge, and mindset that allow us to achieve lasting success and fulfillment. Furthermore, the pursuit of depth is a mindset that challenges us to resist the pull of distraction. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded by information, entertainment, and demands on our attention. The surface-level distractions can be alluring, but they often leave us feeling disconnected or unfulfilled. Pursuing depth means intentionally blocking out distractions and dedicating time to the things that truly matter. It means engaging with ideas, people, and experiences that promote growth and self-discovery rather than seeking temporary pleasure or validation. Ultimately, the pursuit of depth over surface is about embracing the richness of life. It is about rejecting the notion that superficial success, fleeting achievements, or shallow experiences are sufficient for a fulfilling life. Instead, it is about recognizing the value in going beyond the surface, in engaging deeply with ourselves, others, and the world around us. Depth allows us to uncover truths, create meaningful connections, and experience the fullness of life. By prioritizing depth, we cultivate a life of substance, purpose, and lasting fulfillment. Gratitude practice is one of the most transformative habits you can cultivate. It involves intentionally focusing on the positive aspects of your life, even amidst challenges, and recognizing the value they bring. At its core, gratitude is an acknowledgement of the good things in your life, both big and small, and the understanding that these blessings contribute to your well-being. This practice is deceptively simple yet deeply profound, with far-reaching effects on your mental, emotional, and even physical health. The primary benefit of practicing gratitude is the shift it creates in your perspective. Human beings have a natural tendency to focus on what's wrong or lacking. This negativity bias may have evolved to help us survive by alerting us to dangers and problems, but in modern life, it often leads to chronic dissatisfaction and stress. Gratitude counteracts this tendency by redirecting your focus to what's good and meaningful. When you actively look for things to appreciate, you train your mind to notice and value them more frequently, creating a positive feedback loop that enhances your overall outlook on life. Practicing gratitude doesn't require grand gestures or extraordinary circumstances. It can begin with something as simple as writing down 3 things you're thankful for at the end of each day. These could be anything: a warm cup of coffee in the morning, a kind word from a friend, or the beauty of a sunset. The act of identifying these moments forces you to pause, reflect, and savor the positive experiences that might otherwise be overlooked. Over time, this habit cultivates a sense of abundance and contentment, helping you feel that your life is rich with meaning regardless of external circumstances. Gratitude also has a profound impact on emotional well-being. Regularly practicing gratitude reduces feelings of anxiety and depression by shifting your focus away from worries and regrets. It fosters a sense of hope and optimism as it reminds you of the good things that already exist in your life. By anchoring yourself in a mindset of appreciation, you're less likely to be consumed by negative thoughts or feelings of scarcity. Gratitude acts as a buffer against stress, giving you the resilience to face life's challenges with a calm and steady mind. Beyond its mental and emotional benefits, gratitude also strengthens relationships. When you express gratitude to others, whether through a heartfelt thank you, a kind gesture, or a simple acknowledgement of their efforts, you reinforce the bonds between you. People feel valued and appreciated when their contributions are recognized, which fosters deeper connections and mutual respect. Gratitude has the power to transform relationships by creating a positive cycle of giving and receiving, where kindness and appreciation are reciprocated and amplified. Gratitude can also enhance your physical health. Research has shown that people who practice gratitude regularly tend to experience better sleep, lower blood pressure, and improved immune function. The connection between gratitude and physical well-being lies in its ability to reduce stress and promote relaxation. When you focus on what you're grateful for, your body responds by decreasing levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, and increasing the production of dopamine and serotonin, which are associated with feelings of happiness and contentment. These physiological changes contribute to a greater sense of vitality and overall health. Another remarkable aspect of gratitude is its accessibility. Unlike many self-improvement practices, it doesn't require special tools, training, or significant time investment. Gratitude can be practiced anytime and anywhere through journaling, meditation, verbal expression, or even quiet reflection. It's a habit that adapts to your lifestyle and grows with you, becoming more natural and effortless over time. The more you practice, the more you'll find to be grateful for, creating a cycle of positivity that permeates every aspect of your life. Gratitude also serves as a grounding force in an unpredictable world. When life feels chaotic or overwhelming, gratitude anchors you to the present moment. It reminds you that even in times of difficulty, there are reasons to be thankful. This perspective doesn't dismiss or ignore challenges. Rather, it offers balance. Gratitude allows you to acknowledge the hardships while still appreciating the blessings that coexist with them. This balanced perspective fosters inner peace and strengthens your ability to navigate adversity with grace and resilience. Ultimately, gratitude is a practice that transcends individual moments. It shapes your worldview, transforming the way you engage with yourself, others, and the world around you. It teaches you to see life through a lens of abundance rather than scarcity, focusing on what you have rather than what you lack. This shift not only brings more joy and fulfillment into your life, but also inspires you to share that positivity with others, creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond yourself. Through consistent practice, gratitude becomes not just a habit, but a way of being, enriching your life in ways both subtle and profound. Small, consistent habits are the foundation of long-term success and personal transformation. In a world that often celebrates instant results and grand achievements, the power of small, steady actions is often overlooked. Yet it is in the daily, seemingly insignificant behaviors that real progress is made. These habits, when practiced consistently, compound over time to create profound changes in all areas of life. The beauty of small habits lies in their simplicity and accessibility. They don't require major life overhauls or radical shifts in routine, but rather the willingness to take one small step each day toward a larger goal. The concept of small habits works because the human mind is wired for consistency. It's easier to commit to something small and manageable rather than attempting drastic changes that are unsustainable. Starting with something as simple as drinking a glass of water every morning or taking a 5-minute walk can be just as powerful as committing to a full workout routine. These small actions, when repeated daily, build momentum and pave the way for more significant accomplishments. Over time, these seemingly trivial tasks form a foundation of discipline and consistency, which are the true drivers of change. One of the greatest advantages of small, consistent habits is their ability to create lasting change without overwhelming you. The problem with large, ambitious goals is that they often feel unattainable or lead to burnout. On the other hand, small habits are non-threatening and can be easily integrated into your routine. When you set the bar low enough, success becomes inevitable. And this success reinforces your confidence and motivation. This positive feedback loop encourages you to continue practicing the habit, allowing it to grow and evolve as you progress. Consistency, however, is key. It's not enough to practice a new habit once or twice and expect lasting results. Small habits need to be integrated into your daily life so they become automatic and effortless. The power of these habits lies in repetition, the act of doing something every day, even when it doesn't feel particularly exciting or impactful. This is where the real magic happens. Over time, your small efforts add up. A few minutes of reading each day, a daily walk, or a small creative project every morning can slowly lead to greater knowledge, improved health, or new skills. These habits compound in ways that are hard to quantify at first, but become undeniable with time. Additionally, small habits are more adaptable than large, rigid ones. Life can be unpredictable, and there will be days when circumstances change or motivation wanes. However, a small habit can be adjusted to fit the moment. For instance, if you're unable to go for a 30-minute run, you can still go for a 10-minute walk or do a few minutes of stretching. The key is not perfection, but consistency. By keeping your habits small and flexible, you give yourself permission to adapt without abandoning the practice altogether. Another advantage of small habits is their ability to build a sense of control and agency. When you consistently show up for yourself, even in small ways, you create a sense of ownership over your life. You are no longer passive in the face of challenges. Instead, you take active steps toward your goals, no matter how small. This builds self-trust and strengthens your belief that you have the power to shape your own future. In this way, small habits act as a form of self-empowerment. Small habits also have a profound impact on mental well-being. When you commit to taking small steps each day, you cultivate a sense of accomplishment. Even on days when you feel less productive or are facing challenges, the small victories can provide a sense of relief and fulfillment. Knowing that you are taking consistent action toward your goals, even in small ways, provides stability and reduces anxiety. This sense of progress, however incremental, helps you maintain a positive outlook and a strong sense of purpose. Perhaps one of the most significant benefits of small, consistent habits is their ability to create lasting change without overwhelming you. Large goals or sweeping transformations often fail because they require too much effort or too many changes at once. Small habits, by contrast, are manageable and realistic. When you focus on small actions, you can maintain a sense of balance in your life, achieving meaningful progress without sacrificing your mental or physical well-being. In this way, small habits are the building blocks of a life that is both fulfilling and sustainable. Over time, the impact of small habits becomes evident in all areas of life. Health improves, productivity increases, relationships deepen, and personal growth accelerates. Small, consistent habits allow you to become the person you want to be, not through drastic efforts, but through steady, incremental actions that compound over time. As you practice these habits, they begin to shape not only your daily routine, but also your identity, helping you become someone who shows up, does the work, and creates the life they desire. The journey toward critical thinking begins with an often uncomfortable but profoundly necessary step: embracing uncertainty. At first glance, this idea may seem counterintuitive. After all, isn't certainty the foundation of confidence and action? Yet, it is precisely our willingness to admit what we do not know that opens the door to true understanding. To embrace uncertainty is to cultivate a mindset that values inquiry over assumption, growth over complacency, and clarity over the illusion of knowing. Human beings are wired to seek patterns, make sense of the world, and find comfort in definitive answers. This trait has helped us survive and thrive in a complex environment. However, the same inclination can become a barrier when it leads to the premature closure of thought. Too often we cling to familiar beliefs not because they are necessarily true, but because they feel safe. This cognitive shortcut saves mental energy but limits the depth and breadth of our understanding. To embrace uncertainty, we must first acknowledge that not knowing is not a weakness. It is, in fact, a strength, a starting point for growth. It takes humility to admit that we do not have all the answers, but this humility is not the same as passivity or surrender. Instead, it reflects an active stance of curiosity and openness. It is the recognition that the world is vast and complex, far exceeding the confines of our individual perspectives. By accepting this reality, we create space for exploration and discovery. The process of embracing uncertainty requires a shift in perspective. Instead of viewing ambiguity as a threat, we can reframe it as an opportunity. Uncertainty invites us to question, to learn, and to expand our horizons. For example, consider how innovation occurs. Great advancements, whether in science, technology, or art, are rarely born from absolute certainty. They emerge from individuals who are willing to challenge conventional wisdom, venture into the unknown, and risk failure in the pursuit of something greater. Take the scientific method as an illustration of this principle. Science thrives on uncertainty. It begins with a question, not an answer. Hypotheses are tested, observations are made, and conclusions are drawn. But these conclusions are always provisional. They remain open to revision in light of new evidence. This iterative process exemplifies the power of embracing uncertainty as a tool for progress. It is through this mindset that humanity has unraveled mysteries, cured diseases, and unlocked the secrets of the universe. On a more personal level, embracing uncertainty can transform how we approach relationships, careers, and decision-making. Many of us fear the unknown because it disrupts our sense of control. Yet the most meaningful experiences in life often arise precisely from stepping outside our comfort zones. When we allow ourselves to question our assumptions about what is possible, we become more resilient, adaptable, and creative. We learn to navigate ambiguity with grace, finding opportunities in challenges and growth in setbacks. However, embracing uncertainty is not without its challenges. It requires confronting our fears, fear of failure, fear of judgment, and perhaps most fundamentally, fear of change. Certainty feels stable even when it is built on shaky ground. Letting go of that illusion can feel like stepping into a void, but this void is not empty, it is full of potential. By resisting the urge to fill it prematurely, we give ourselves the freedom to explore and the courage to evolve. One practical way to cultivate this mindset is to practice asking better questions. Instead of seeking confirmation of what we already believe, we can ask questions that probe deeper, challenge assumptions, and broaden our perspective. For instance, instead of asking, "How can I prove I'm right?" we might ask, "What might I be missing?" or "What evidence would change my mind?" Such questions foster intellectual humility and pave the way for genuine understanding. Another strategy is to reframe mistakes as learning opportunities. When we embrace uncertainty, we inevitably encounter moments where we are wrong. Rather than seeing these moments as failures, we can view them as valuable feedback. Each misstep becomes a stepping stone toward greater clarity and wisdom. This shift in attitude not only reduces the fear of failure, but also encourages experimentation and innovation. Ultimately, embracing uncertainty is not about living in a state of perpetual doubt. It is about holding our beliefs lightly, staying open to new information, and remaining willing to revise our understanding as needed. It is a dynamic and adaptive approach to life, one that values truth over comfort and progress over complexity. In a world where opinions often masquerade as facts and simplicity is prized over nuance, the ability to embrace uncertainty is a profound act of courage and responsibility. It allows us to engage with complexity rather than retreat from it, to seek understanding rather than settle for assumptions, and to grow as individuals. Far from being a limitation, uncertainty is a source of strength, a fertile ground where curiosity takes root, wisdom flourishes, and transformation becomes possible. The ability to separate emotion from reason is a cornerstone of effective critical thinking. While emotions are an integral part of the human experience, providing depth, connection, and motivation, they can also cloud judgment when left unchecked. Rational thinking, on the other hand, requires clarity, objectivity, and deliberate analysis. The interplay between emotion and reason is complex, and achieving balance is not about suppressing emotions, but understanding their influence and ensuring they do not override sound decision-making. Emotions are powerful drivers of behavior. They can inspire us to take bold actions, connect deeply with others, and persevere in the face of challenges. However, the same emotional intensity that fuels these positive outcomes can also lead to impulsive decisions, biased judgments, and unnecessary conflicts. For instance, anger can push us to confront injustice, but it can also distort our perception of events and lead us to react in ways we might later regret. Similarly, fear can alert us to danger, but may also paralyze us or prevent us from taking necessary risks. Recognizing the dual nature of emotions is the first step towards separating them from reason. Emotions are not inherently good or bad. They are signals that reflect our inner experiences and external circumstances. However, these signals need to be interpreted and managed thoughtfully. This requires awareness and self-regulation, an ability to pause, reflect, and assess whether our emotional responses are aligned with reality and conducive to constructive outcomes. The challenge lies in the fact that emotions often arise automatically and unconsciously, while rational thinking requires deliberate effort. When faced with a triggering situation, the brain's emotional center, the amygdala, can hijack our responses before the rational prefrontal cortex has a chance to intervene. This amygdala hijack is why we sometimes say or do things in the heat of the moment that we later regret. Learning to separate emotion from reason involves recognizing these moments and creating a space for rational thought to take precedence. One practical approach to achieving this separation is mindfulness. By cultivating an awareness of our thoughts and feelings, we can observe emotions without being controlled by them. Mindfulness allows us to acknowledge the presence of anger, fear, or excitement without immediately acting on it. Instead of suppressing emotions, we create a mental gap between feeling and action, giving ourselves time to consider the most rational and effective response. Another valuable technique is cognitive reframing. Emotions often arise from the way we interpret events rather than the events themselves. By challenging our interpretations and considering alternative perspectives, we can mitigate the intensity of emotional reactions. For example, if someone criticizes our work, our initial emotional response might be defensiveness or hurt. However, by reframing the situation, we might see the criticism as an opportunity to improve, or as a reflection of the critic's personal biases rather than an attack on our character. Critical thinking also benefits from an understanding of emotional triggers. Each individual has specific sensitivities, topics, situations, or interactions that evoke strong emotional reactions. By identifying these triggers, we can prepare ourselves to approach them with greater rationality. For instance, if we know that discussions about a particular issue tend to make us defensive, we can consciously strive to remain open-minded and focus on facts during such conversations. Separating emotion from reason does not mean eliminating passion or empathy. In fact, emotions can enhance reasoning when they are channeled constructively. Compassion can drive us to seek solutions to societal problems, while enthusiasm can fuel innovation. The key is to ensure that these emotions complement rather than overshadow rational analysis. A compassionate leader, for example, must balance their desire to help with a reasoned assessment of what is practical and sustainable. The consequences of failing to separate emotion from reason can be significant, both on an individual and societal level. Personal relationships can suffer when emotional reactions lead to misunderstandings or resentment. Decision-making in professional settings can become compromised when driven by fear, favoritism, or pride. On a broader scale, societal debates can devolve into unproductive conflicts when emotional appeals override evidence-based reasoning. Consider the example of public discourse. In today's world, emotionally charged rhetoric often takes precedence over rational dialogue. Politicians, advertisers, and media outlets frequently exploit emotions to sway opinions, appealing to fear, anger, or desire rather than presenting balanced arguments. While such tactics can be effective in the short term, they undermine critical thinking and polarize communities. By separating emotion from reason, we can resist manipulation, evaluate information more objectively, and contribute to more meaningful and constructive discussions. In practice, separating emotion from reason is not about perfection, but progress. It is a skill that develops over time through self-awareness, reflection, and deliberate practice. Each time we pause before reacting impulsively, consider alternative interpretations of a situation, or challenge our biases, we strengthen our capacity for rational thought. The goal is not to become emotionless, but to harness the best of both worlds, leveraging the insights and motivations that emotions provide while maintaining the clarity and objectivity of reason. Ultimately, separating emotion from reason empowers us to navigate life's complexities with greater wisdom and integrity. It enables us to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, to make decisions that reflect our values and goals rather than fleeting emotional states. In doing so, we create a foundation for personal growth, healthier relationships, and a more rational and harmonious society.